What up, guys? This is David Ruff here, and I'm here to help you change the way that you think about money and help you build generational wealth, always with the cornerstone being real estate. And we get a lot of questions about real estate all the time, and that's what we're here to help you with today. We're talking about what is the differences between a realtor, a real estate agent, and a broker. All right, we get questions all the time of, well, what are the differences between these terms? And we're going to cover that today. Okay, so number one, a real estate agent. Number two, we're going to be talking about what is a broker. Number three, we're going to be talking about broker of records. And number four, we're going to be talking about realtors. Now, we got to cover all these terms to figure out who we're actually talking to, because when you're in the industry, we kind of take it for granted that you may not know that. So number one, everybody is a real estate agent, everybody. Now, you can, if you want, belong to the Realtor Association. Sometimes you see at the end of Realtor has a little R next to it. That association wants to promote good practices in real estate, honest practices, and so forth. And the biggest benefit is you have access to this thing called the MLS. The MLS is this system that has all of the history, all the comparables of the homes that have sold in the past, and we pull that for those comparables all the time. It's super, super valuable. And so we want to have access to that, so the majority of the time, everybody will be a realtor, but everybody is always going to be a real estate agent. Now, we have some huge numbers, depending on what state or province you are in Canada and the States. The numbers are very high for the number of realtors that come into the business that actually end up leaving the business because they couldn't make any money. The percentage is usually around 80 to 90%, depending on where you are, but it is very high. So you have to learn a lot in this business. But once you have enough experience in real estate, you now have the privilege of being able to try to become a broker. That is going to require some extra tests, some extra licenses, some extra education, fees, and so forth. But if you pass, you now can have other real estate agents work for you as a broker. So you can do that. Now, the idea behind it is the broker who has more experience is going to be able to help the ones that are younger, experience-wise, so that they can learn, have good practices, do everything honestly and correctly, and make sure everything is going right. For that service, they're usually charging a portion of what they're making as a fee, just to make sure that they're looking over them. Now, you also have the right as a broker to keep on moving up and buy your own store, essentially. So you could have your own Royal LePage store, Remax store, whatever it is, and you'll have your own brokerage, and then you would be called the broker of record. Now, that is in Canada. In the United States, you would be called the managing broker. So those are generally administrative roles, right? Where they're going to be in the office all the time and they're not in the day-to-day opening doors and showing homes. So that's a very, very different type of broker, actually, than a working broker, right? So in residential, the guy who owns the shop would be broker of record or managing broker. If you were actually showing homes and selling homes and you had a real estate agent versus a broker, the broker generally has more experience, generally speaking. But that's not always a hard, fast, and true rule. You could have an agent after 2-3 years become a broker, and you can have another agent after 20 years still not decide to do his extra exams. So it's just something to be aware of. Now, if we go into the space of commercial, commercial is completely different. Commercial is kind of like the Wild West. Okay? Wild West when it comes to commercials, because typically speaking, they don't have to belong to an association. They don't have to have a big system where they're going and looking at all the things that are for sale. Think of it, if you have a multi-billionaire who has a property, a whole skyscraper, he doesn't want to put it out in the newspaper and let everyone know that he's selling it. He generally calls his broker and says, do you have anybody within your circle who's interested in buying my tower? And so typically when you're looking for something in commercial, it's going to be a relationship business, a network business where you're calling around all your friends to get these listings, and then you're going to be talking to people. It's very, very different. So within the commercial space, everyone's kind of buddy-buddy, and everyone calls each other brokers. So it doesn't kind of apply the same levels that we're talking about in residential as in commercial. Hope that helps. If it helps even one person, I'm happy. If they're asking about it, send them this video. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is David Ruff, and I am head of Ruff Team Realty, and we are here to change the way that you structure your financial future so that you can become financially independent, and I'm going to show you some of the things to avoid to make you a lot more money.